Have you ever wanted to create your own WagerTalk Dream Team? We're excited to announce you can build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at WagerTalk.com. Even more exciting, for a limited time, you can save up to 55% on your favorite 2 or 3 handicappers and pay as little as $1.99 for a full month of picks. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, Yanni the Greek, Ralph Michaels, Teddy Covers, Hakeem Prophet, Tony Finn, Rob Vino, Brian Leonard. The combinations are endless. Who will make your dream team lineup? Just go to WagerTalk.com, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand-select your handicapping roster. Our Dream Team promotion is only being offered for a little limited time before going back to regular price, so please make sure to take advantage of this incredible offer.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, everybody. Teddy Covers with us. I'm Lawrence Presman, excited about today's show. Teddy, Matthew Barnaby right at the top, man. And I watched some videos yesterday of him beating the shit out of people and him getting the shit beat out of him. 15 years, his knuckles must be a mess. What are we going to discuss? We got some questions to ask him, betting from a player's perspective. And we're going to look at 2 NHL games, Islanders versus the Caps, Rangers versus the Sabres, and, of course, Dave Sharapan coming on. And, Teddy, God willing, we have time for your big game breakdown. What is it going to be?
We'll talk a little NBA for tonight. The Utah Jazz and the New York Knickerbockers closing out the last game of their West Coast swing. God willing, if we have time, Lawrence.
Oh, well, I hope we do, Teddy. Nothing warms my cockles like your big game breakdown. Lead story today, brother. Some people are betting the total up, except it's now down. And there's a small amount of money coming in on KC, except it's now 3s across the board. Perhaps you can explain that.
Sure. And, of course, the Super Bowl likely to be a consistent topic on the lead story, even on a day like today where we don't have a ton of Super Bowl talk planned. This is not going to be wall-to-wall Super Bowl coverage for the next 2 weeks. We'll talk Super Bowl every day, but it's not going to be the only thing we talk about. This is a sports central for gamblers. That said, there were questions yesterday about where this line was going to move, Lawrence, about where it's going to end up, what it's going to be. And when we look at the betting markets on a Tuesday morning here in Las Vegas, it's pretty clear that we've seen there was some debate as the total. All right. Total was down to 56, looked like it might go lower. Now it's back up to 56.5. And that's pretty much across the board when you look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. So for the short term, all right, the wise guys didn't make a big move on the under. So we can expect this total to tick up and tick up and tick up. 56 if you find it now. There's a couple of them out there here in Vegas. I don't see many in the global markets, but one would anticipate this total is going to be ticking up, not ticking down.
Second highest total ever at the Super Bowl. The highest was 58. It went over due to overtime. Teddy, man, the totals in the Super Bowl dead even, 26, 26, and 1. There was no total in the first Super Bowl. That's some impressive work by the odds makers.
It's fairly random. And of course, you know, when you look at some of the mainstream information out there, we're like, favorites have covered 2 straight in the Super Bowls and 3 of the last 4. Overall, favorites are 27, 25, and 2 ATS. This is not going to help you win. You know, the last 2 Super Bowls went under the total. There have been 10 overs and 10 unders in the last 20, and it's 26, 26, and 1 overall. That's not necessarily going to help you win. AFC teams have won 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls and covered 5 of the last 6.
Okay, Teddy.
Again, you know, be careful of the info that you find.
Teddy, we got an enforcer on this show. Don't mess with me today. Matthew Barnaby, everybody, 15 years in the NHL, 7 protecting Pat LaFontaine, 3 Mario Lemieux, a few Mark Messier, although, Matthew, I don't think Mark needs your help.
I don't think Moose needs my help at all. And rumor is you were going to start shit today, and everyone's giving you 50-1 odds to last probably 30 seconds. So I'll give those odds. I don't mind it. But yeah, the Moose Mark Messier, who just turned 60, by the way, still is in great shape.
Yeah, well, listen, Matthew, I'm willing to go anytime you want to drop the gloves. And at 50 to 1, I'll put a little bit on you as well.
Smart, I like it.
Yeah.
I'll
brother,
put more than a little.
Yeah. I listen, I could maybe outrun him. And I certainly couldn't outskate him. Matthew, thrilled. We got some questions we want to ask you first about just being in the NHL. We're going to be pretty quick with that. Hopefully we'll get you on again. And, you know, every time you come on, you could regale us with a crazy story. But before we get into any of that, somebody on Twitter put one of your fights up. It was 5.5 minutes long. You played possum lying on the ground, pretending to be injured, while a brawl took place around you. And then, look, Ron Hextall, it was not cool. He came up to you while you were faking an injury, lying on the ground, and he poked you with his stick. You jumped off the ice, actually landed about 5 or 6 quality shots, and then the fight went on for like 5 minutes, dude.
I
guys,
you got yeah.
You guys got to see this fight, Teddy. You got to see this nonsense. Matthew, just really briefly, were you faking an injury lying there playing possum?
It was actually Garth Snow,
yes.
Ron Hextall. And Garth Snow, I had fought the year before in the minors when he played in Cornwall. So, you know, I got hit. I kind of lost my wind a little bit, but no, I wasn't really hurt. We had such a battle with Philadelphia, with Lindros and Brindamore. You know, the old Broad Street Bullies, they still had that mentality on this team. And it was early 90s. I was just a young kid. I was probably 20, 21 years old at the time. So when I saw everyone come in to protect me and kind of stand up for their teammate, I knew that I kind of had a one-on-one if I wanted it. So our trainer was right beside me laying, you know, asking me if I was okay. And I just told him, I said, at any moment, you're going to watch me jump up as soon as I know that I'm one-on-one with the goalie, and I'm going to lay a beating on him. I got free reign. Not very often you get free reign on a goaltender that you don't like in your home building. So I told Jim Pizzatelli, who was our trainer at the time, just beware. He's going to do something stupid because he's an idiot, and I'm going to lay a beating on him. So, you know, it came came to fruition that he came over, gave me a little stick tap, and I just jumped up like a WWE wrestler, where you know the outcome and where it's going to come. So
it was unbelievable.
It was
anyway,
fun.
We don't see fights like that anymore. That's for sure. Are you and Garth talking these days?
I ended up playing with him in Pittsburgh, and he's a funny bastard, man. Yeah, he's one of those guys. Most guys you don't like on the ice is the guys you want to go have a beer with, hang out, and tell stories. They're very much like-minded people. My girlfriend always says find each other, whether it's betting, whether it's having fun off the ice, whatever it is. Like-minded people find each other, and we very much are like-minded people.
Excellent stuff. Matthew Barnaby joining us, everybody. We're going to talk some betting. Matthew, question number 1 I'm going to ask you, and this is something that Teddy and I have spoken about on the phone and are just curious in general. Do you guys, when you get into the dressing room, discuss the betting lines? Like, do you know, if you played for Buffalo, there were times where they weren't the best team. Did you sit there and say, what the hell, we're plus 240 against the Rangers?
When I played, no, not at all. But let's remember, you know, I've been retired 12 years now. So it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. You know, everyone gambles. Betting's fun. Betting makes games more interesting. Plain and simple. I'm not watching a shitty hockey game on a Monday night like yesterday without money. You think I'm watching the Ottawa Senators play the Vancouver Canucks at 10 o'clock at night if I don't have money on it? Hell no. But when I played, it wasn't as prevalent. Now, did we talk about lines in football? Absolutely. I mean, I played in Pittsburgh with some big gamblers, notably a Jaromir Jagr. So I always used to say, don't bet on us on a Sunday afternoon because half our team is watching the football games rather than playing hockey. So it wasn't prevalent in the dressing rooms, though, the hockey lines or being an underdog.
So the hockey lines weren't prevalent at all, but other sports were both being bet and being talked about in the locker room. Everyone knows what the point spreads are. Was it just football, NFL, or were people betting hoops or betting the Olympics or betting whatever else they were going to bet? Or it's just football.
You know what?
Is the one sport.
Yeah, it's a great point. And sorry to cut you off there, but he, we had great poker games just to start with in Pittsburgh, and most of the teams I went to had great poker games. That's probably where I made my most money in playing in the National Hockey League. Besides my salary, was our poker games on the flights and the hotel, because there's a lot of fishes, a lot of guys with a lot of money that don't know how to play. So first of all, never be that fish at the table. Second of all, yeah, we talked about the lines all week long in football, especially in Pittsburgh. We had a big gambling team, guys that love to do it, guys that love to go to Vegas, and Super Bowl parties certainly were prevalent, and even bringing in the guys that weren't as big a bettors. So yeah, it was very prevalent in our locker room, especially in Pittsburgh.
So we had a gambling question that we were discussing on the show the other day, specifically when it comes to situations where you're back-to-back games in the NHL. And the question was, do tired legs affect offense or defense more? Would you want to bet overs or unders on the second night of back-to-back in the NHL? Or it depends. I'm real curious about your take.
I think it depends on the teams, but it definitely affects defensively. I always felt good offensively the next game. Not that I was one of the offensive juggernauts that we had on our team, but I was able to contribute offensively. But from what I saw, defensively, the first thing that goes when you're tired, isn't always your legs, it's your mental. And with the travel, you throw back-to-back games. It's more the mental than the physical, I think, that gets to you. So, physically, I'd feel good. My hands felt good. I was a little bit looser, and I found most guys were. But defensively, the mental side of it, I really thought guys and teams struggle with. So you'd see more breakdowns leading to more offensive chances, thus more overs.
Matthew, we didn't have this question prepared, but I want to follow up on that really quick. Is that similar on the long road trips? Do you find that, maybe the last game of a long road trip or the second last game, a team might be a bet against?
Yeah, I would say that. I'd say early on trips, it doesn't matter. Like people say they're going from East Coast to West Coast to East Coast. Hey, most of the time, I know we're in a different pandemic right now where guys are locked up in their hotel room, but guys going to East Coast to West Coast, man, we get away from our wives for a few days, our kids not yelling in the background. We're going out for a nice steak dinner. We're getting to sleep perfectly. A lot of times you sleep just as good or better on the road when you go to the West Coast. So early on, I don't see that trend being out there, and I see it being talked about a lot. Now, as you go through and you start changing time zones, you start playing a lot of, at least when I played, there was a 3 and 4 nights. So you do LA, San Jose, and Anaheim, 3 and 4 nights, or 3 and 5 nights. Those are 3 hard games. It used to be a tough swing to get through them. So lastly, when you start getting in those later trips, especially on the West Coast, going from east to west, it is very, very tough.
Matthew Barnaby joining us, everybody. Matthew, backup goalies. What goes on in the dressing room when you're not facing Brodeur, when Ra isn't in the net? Is there an edge for bettors when a backup goalie comes in, or does a team rally behind that goalie and actually play a tighter defensive game?
Well, it's both. I mean, I think if you're the team with the backup goaltender in it, we're going to see a lot of that this year. And for bettors out there, really pay attention. Go to, in hockey, especially Daily Faceoff. You can go to NHL.com and find out who the goalies are to start the game. And they usually have them up pretty early in the day. But, for a team that has a backup goalie in there, your subconscious and your conscious is we got to protect this guy. We can't give up, or we can't take the same amount of chances with our backup in, and we want to protect him. Having said that, from the other side, when the backup is in, you aren't looking for the pretty play. You're filtering pucks and bodies to the net, and you're making it more of an ugly game. And you're trying to generate as much traffic, as many chances as you can, where, when you're facing a top goaltender, you're usually looking for that pretty pay, that cross ice, that one to get him out of position. Whereas when you're facing a guy normally where he's playing once every 4 games, you're just trying to throw a shitload of pucks his way with throwing so many bodies his way. So I think whenever we see a backup goaltender, know how many games he's played, know how long he's been off, and certainly take that into consideration and look for teams that you're starting to look at teams like Montreal. They got 2 good goalies. You got Carey Price and you got Jake Allen. Jake Allen's a terrible starting goalie, but he's a very good backup. So start looking for them when they're playing their backup as a potential very big value, especially if those guys play on the road a lot.
So let's talk about some games. Certainly for tonight, we have a couple games that we wanted to break down. We were talking about the Islanders traveling to Washington to take on the Capitals, the least favorite team here in Las Vegas. Right now, the Islanders, there's a little bit of Washington money coming in. I'm seeing the Islanders minus 130, minus 135, total 5.5. Break it down for us, Mr. Barnaby.
Yeah, I think Hakkasan would love the Washington Capitals. I'm sure they spent about $150,000. At least Ovi did in the bar after they won in Vegas when the Vegas tour started for Ovi. But yes, that game. If you look at the New York Islanders, just typically the Barry Trotz teams play to the under, and you have a Washington team that have 4 guys out with COVID. We don't know if Tom Wilson is going to play. He was injured in the last game, so you have Ovechkin out, you have Kuznetsov out. You have your goaltender out. So you have a team that is not the full Capitals team. Barry Trotz teams play to the under. They struggle to score goals. I mean, they're a team that's averaged only 1.8 goals for in their games this year. So you couple that with a depleted lineup in Washington. I love the under 5.5, and I don't like betting 5.5 goal games. But for a team that likes to win 2-1, 3-1, they're very comfortable in those situations. I'm all over the under in this one.
Yeah, and Matthew, that makes total sense to me as well. I like the under in this game too. I mean, look, I think you could bet the Islanders under the total blind all year, and you should be up money. Obviously, there'll be adjustments made, but we're not going to see a lot of 5s this year, especially with the new style of hockey that's being played. But yeah, other than Barzell, this is a team that's going to struggle to score and just, plays outstanding defense. It's no wonder the Capitals won their Stanley Cup when they finally got a coach like Trotz. Morons to let him go. Matthew Barnaby joining us, everybody, the most hated hockey player in Philadelphia. Why Philadelphia, Matthew? I got people tweeting me all night. That Lindros, I loved watching Lindros beat the shit out of him.
He did beat the shit out of me. I can't say now. I was 168 pounds when I fought him, and he was about 250. And it's funny. Yeah, we had a hatred. It's all developed through rivalries, and we're seeing a lot more rivalries this year with playing against the same team 9 times. So we're playing against 3-3, 3 games in a row. We just hated each other. The battle, we played similar styles. We both had tough teams. Yeah. But I loved going
similar
to Philadelphia, getting the death threats. Loved it. I loved the fans call me Barnaby and tell me to fuck off.
I'm sorry.
It was awesome.
Matthew, I'm sorry. You made me laugh, dude. I almost puffed my coffee out.
I would have loved to play Philadelphia.
Matthew, you made me spit my coffee saying that you and Lindros played similar styles. You were a pugilist. He was a goal-scoring machine.
I didn't.
For the record, go ahead.
Do those earphones work? I did not say we played similar styles. The Sabres and the Flyers played similar styles. And I see you're wearing the bright orange in support for Philadelphia. But us in Philadelphia, 2 tough teams.
Teddy, he's going to be a good member of the WagerTalk family, giving me shit all the time like this already. It's beautiful. Real quick, Matthew. Matthew, real quick. I went to a bar when I was in my early 20s. I was trying to pick up a girl. Lindros tried to pick up the same one. I lost out. New
I
York
could have set
Rangers.
the odds at about 1,000 to 1. You weren't winning that one.
Yeah. Well put. Rangers, brother. This team just can't get out of their own way. They've lost 3 in a row. They're struggling to score as well. They're playing Buffalo, and I like Buffalo this year. I like them to be as a bet on team. I like them as an over team. This team is stacked on offense. But hey, like what we saw with Vancouver last night, really needing a win, maybe the tonic for the Rangers' bad start are the Sabres. Break this game apart for us.
Yeah, but Buffalo's been Jekyll and Hyde. They've played really well or they've got blown out. Obviously, the addition of Taylor Hall to a Jack Eichel and now playing with Sam Reinhart on that top line. Their power play has been pretty good at 27%. But, they're a Jekyll and Hyde team. I think New York's the better hockey team in general. They haven't played to that through the start of the season. But here's a power play in New York that's at 16%. You have Buffalo's PK at 67%, which is putrid. And I'm waiting for New York to break out. New York hasn't played to its full potential yet. I think Panarin has 6 points in 5 games, only 2 goals. But I'm waiting for this power play to really break out at some point. So Georgiev was pulled last game. I think he's a pretty good goaltender. I'm not a believer in Buffalo's goaltender. It looks like Ullmark will get the start tonight. Buffalo's been the better team, but I'm going the opposite way today. I'm going with the New York Rangers because I think we haven't seen the best of them. They've lost the last 3 games, but the last 2 against Devils and Pittsburgh, both 4-3 games. I think they're going to tighten up tonight, and Buffalo doesn't play well in tight games. They play well when they want a running gun because they have the horses to do it. But I'm on the New York Rangers. I think there's value at a pick 'em at about -110 tonight in that game.
Matthew Barnaby, everybody. Matt, I can't thank you enough for joining us. I'm going to bug you again. Hopefully you'll make an appearance on Puck Time and a few more on Wager Talk Today. Give out your Twitter handle and anything you want to promote except a sports book. Go ahead and promote.
All right. Yes. Matt Barnaby 3636 on Twitter. I give a lot of picks out there. I give my analysis of a lot of games and keep doing a great job, guys. Prez, Teddy, awesome stuff. Watch you guys all the time. So good luck for all the people out there, even the Philly fans. Hope you make some fucking money.
Yeah, baby. Matthew Barnaby, everybody. And listen, guys, there is so much more going on this show. Dave Sharapan coming up literally in a few minutes. We got Teddy's big game breakdown. We got Ralph Michaels. Literally hang out for 20 seconds and we will be right back.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
It's time for a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap what happened in the betting world the last night. And this one, I saw it. And then Rafiki Betts sent me a tweet talking about it. Texas Tech up 12 with 7 minutes left. They open as a dog. They close -1 or higher. And Rafiki Betts says it's not a bad beat, but a bad bet. Good betting skill got the best of this number. Of course, Texas Tech lost the game by a single point. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is it? Was that a bad beat, a bad bet, or a bad for the book? The game landed right in the middle. West Virginia opened -2.5. They closed +1.5. They won the game by 1. That's normally not great for the books. But it was all one-way betting action. Most of it came after the initial line move. Was it a bad beat? Sure. You're up 12 with 7 minutes left. You're supposed to win that game. And, of course, Texas Tech hadn't given up 88 points to regulation since 2017. But bad bet, what Rafiki Betts called it, might be the best description of the bunch. You can't be laying points with teams that you could have been taking points with an hour or two ago. It's one game where betting skills trumped handicapping skills. Yet again, Texas Tech, West Virginia last night. Was it a bad beat on the Miami Heat? No, it was a tough beat on the Miami Heat last night. They covered all game from the opening tip was a 1-point game with 5 minutes left. They're plus 7.5. Then shorthanded, they just ran out of gas the last couple of minutes, lost by 13, plus 7.5 at Brooklyn. Tough beat for Heat backers. Bad bets last night. Well, Arizona State got my money. That was about as ugly a first 10 minutes of basketball as you'll ever see. All the money came on the Sun Devils, plus 7 down to plus 4.5, a short turnaround revenge rematch against Arizona. They made a little run late, but there wasn't much of an interesting game from an ATS standpoint. Arizona State, a bad bet. And the Lake Show took money last night. I was surprised to see this line move, minus 10 up to minus 12. I know there was no Larry Nance, a LeBron stopper for the Cavs, but they didn't watch my big game breakdown yesterday. Clearly, the bettors who were betting LA, the Cavs were live to win the game with 2 minutes left. They lost by only 7. Lakers, a bad bet last night. Bad for books. Let's see. We had Oklahoma State opened as low as -1 at Circa, -2.5 globally, -3 at Westgate. They're bet up to -7 at Iowa State. The Cyclones are coming off a 2-week COVID shutdown, and they still had multiple players out. Cowboys win by 21. That was not a good result for the house. The 76ers home road dichotomy is real. The 76ers without Embiid are not the same team. Pistons took all the money last night, plus 6.5, down to 4.5 in revenge at home against Philly without Embiid. Detroit wins outright by 15, wire-to-wire job. That wasn't a good result for the house. The Mavs still shorthanded, nothing but Denver money last night, +1 down to -2. They won by 4. That was a bad result for the house. And the Raptors Pacers, nothing but over money, 216 to 219. The refs called everything. Somebody knew something about that game. 45 Pacers free throw attempts, 27 for Toronto. Game flies over the total by 24. A wise guy special there. And wise guy special on OAC as well. Portland Blazers shorthanded and gassed on the second of back-to-backs. Nothing but Oklahoma City Thunder money. They win the game outright. There you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. I'm excited to bring Dave Sharapan in to see what he has to say about the Matthew Barnaby interview and a little NHL.
Teddy covers. Look at Dave with the helmet. Oh my! And Dave, you keep
That's
doing
awesome.
that. You keep doing that, but Teddy ain't supposed to be introducing you. I am. It's supposed to go to me now. It's $2 Tuesdays, everybody. $2 Tuesday. Jimmy Adams, the $2 Tuesday at sportsmemo.com. Jimmy has a 5% play up, and he's 67% in his 5% plays, which is outstanding. Make sure to check that out. Also, Kevin Dolan, he's got a soccer bet up at $2 for our $2 Tuesday capper at WagerTalk. And Kevin is up 54% return on your money in 30 days of soccer action. Check that out. Head over to wagertalk.com. $2 Tuesday, same at Sports Memo. And guys, hit that like button for us, please. Dave the Enforcer Sharapan, I know you and Matthew are friends. Unlike Teddy and I, he's been on your podcast. What do you have to say for yourself?
So I had to go through all the jerseys, and there are a lot of jerseys because we've been playing so long. And this is the closest one to the Maple Leaf jersey that I could find. It's a Maple Leaf jersey, but it has we changed the logo. And then this is the forward helmet. It's the Borje Salming special. It's the Jaffa with the shield. No, nothing down here, so you got to wear a mouthpiece. But I mean, I had to bring it because you went and got Barnaby on your show after him and I had done the show. And Barney brings it every time. Like, you don't know what you're going to get every time you talk to him, which is what I really enjoy about him. And I mean, he's working on a book. Like he's working on writing a book, which is funny because he said he would be the first person to write a book that's never read a book. And I thought that was very ironic, but true. And he's remembering all of these stories. So when you get him going, it's even better. Like, so I don't know how good his picks are. Like, he told us about playing, scoreboard blackjack where, every pause of play, that was your card. And then the next pause of play was the other card. I said, how did you keep track? He said, well, when you're a fourth liner, you get 7 minutes of ice time in a 60-minute game. So you had enough time to get the hand. So one guy was the dealer, and the two other guys were playing against him. We played for $20 a hand.
And they were doing this on the bench?
On the bench. You got to listen
my
to the
God.
podcast. Yeah. You want to be on the podcast. You
Joe,
gotta
bring
listen
him back.
to the podcast.
Get rid of Sharapan. Bring back Barney. Oh, my God.
Well,
that is an
if you
epic
If
story.
you had someone to ask them the questions to get actionable info, Prez, you would have known that.
Oh,
Whoa.
piss on the Prez Day. Dave, speaking of actionable info, can you give us some, please?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the line of the day so far was him asking you if those headphones worked. I've wondered it now all football season, to be perfectly honest, if those headphones work. But, now that we know they do because you reacted and, you haven't flexed. It's Tuesday, flex day. I missed the show last week. You haven't even shown us the bicep. There it is. Thank you. There's your actionable info.
Nobody else got to see it except you.
Well, that's why we save it for this segment. Like Tuesdays, what do you think people come here for? They come here for this. They come here to see your biceps. Let's
Teddy,
keep it real.
please get him to talk about gambling, please.
I will. It's coming. Don't worry. But I want to see those gloves one more time.
Wait,
the gloves are right here. I had to drop the gloves. No one.
Oh, you dropped the gloves? Oh, it's brawl time?
We dropped the gloves today. Yes, that's what we're doing. No, you can drop the gloves today on the Penguins. Like the Penguins are the public dog today. Take the Bruins. This is not a good matchup for the Penguins, and the Penguins have won 4 in a row. The Bruins are probably underpriced in this situation because it's the Penguins and because you're probably going to see money. So I'm looking across. I see anywhere from -125 to -135. Probably expect that line to come down, but the bad guys are on the Bruins. I don't know, man. The scoring in the NHL, it's a different season. Like I was talking about it yesterday with someone with these back-to-backs. You play the same team 8 times. The Canadian division looks like the old Smythe division. I mean, just bet those games over. There's nobody playing defense. The totals have to catch up. We saw it last night in the 6.5 with the total with that game. I mean, they're coming up. You're going to see 7s very soon. And we haven't seen 7s in the NHL in a while. So be prepared to have to play over higher numbers right now. You may have to lay a 25 or 30 on a total that's 6.5, which is a little scary. But look at the Toronto-Calgary game tonight. I mean, it's 6.5. The under is -125. That's probably an overplay.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 6.5s on the board tonight, and both are juiced to the under on this deep NHL card. You really think we're going to see a 7 in the NHL shortly?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking the under on the number of 7s I see.
Well, what is then how many are you going to see?
Prez, we're not talking to you. I'm talking to the guest.
Teddy, let the grown-ups chat. You stay out of it. We're talking hockey. You don't even know what
you just asked. You take over this segment. Go.
I
have a hockey question. He's talking about totals of 7. I don't see totals of 7. I want to ask him about it. Do you actually really think that, or was that hyperbole?
No, I think books are going to have to adjust quick in a situation like this. There's only 56 games in the season, so you can't have like in the years past. Like we would take probably 20 games. So we get to the quarter pole before we started having those discussions. Well, those discussions are being had right now in rooms. You got to go like, hey, how many times? I mean, you can put 6.5, you can put 6.5, and it's going over, and they're betting over. So like now, a couple teams today are priced to the under, but you'll start to see 6. Like last night, close 6.5 even or 6.5 over 15, and it went over. So if it continues, and it's not every division, but like the Canadian division right now is just a high scoring division, and it used to be the Smythe division back in the day where they played a different kind of hockey, and that's what they're doing. So yes, I think you're going to see odds makers adjust faster. And see 7 as a total and maybe juice that to the under until, lines get formed, number 1 goalie situations get taken, figured out by the teams. And then, as it gets closer to the end, obviously the scoring will tighten up.
Veteran handicapper and odds maker Dave Sharapan talking actionable info in the NHL. He says, beware the Penguins tonight. They're the public dog. Boston looks like the sharp side in that game. No urgency to bet that one, as well as Edmonton and Winnipeg. He likes that over 6.5.
No, I like
the other one.
Leafs and the Flames. Yeah,
the Leafs. I'm so sorry. You said
Flames.
because you said the Canadian teams. I'm looking for which
Canadian
the two
teams.
Canadian teams.
That's
The 6.5.
I
guess the Leafs are Canadian.
They're all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah,
they're both
yeah,
6.5, and they're both Canadian.
Teddy, you're really handling the segment well, dude. Like,
thank you, Lawrence.
Good job, man. By the way, I like the Leafs and the Flames over the total as well. And I've started the hockey.
No.
Hey, Dave, I've started the hockey season 14-4. So take your no and shove it up Teddy's tochus.
Wow. Man, and now he's doing these videos. He's fixing the hair. He's looking good. He's working out every day wearing the fluorescent shirts. We see what you're doing.
Dave,
we see what you're doing, Prez.
Dave, talk to us about the Super Bowl, man. You got anything? Come on.
Well, I mean, the line is 3 legs.
That's not the question, Prez. That's why I take over.
Well,
this
maybe. Yeah, go ahead then, Teddy. We'll try.
So tell us about the Super Bowl, brah.
Yeah, brah. Go ahead, brah.
Have you, in terms of early action versus what we're going to see? Okay, the old adage was 90% of the money comes in the last 48 hours before kickoff. Is that still true in 2021, or are we seeing more bettors bet more earlier?
Tell you what, the Super Bowl is always a fun one to be in the book when the line comes out on Championship Sunday, because you see bets start flying, you see some early action, you see guys, show their hand, and, the limits are higher. This year was nothing. It was almost nothing. You put up 3 and 57 and sat there. I mean, nothing happened especially because this is a rematch. This game just happened in Tampa in week 12. And the line was 3.5. Tampa got the backdoor cover. They were never in the game, and they covered 27-24 was the final, I believe. And now we got a rematch. Like, this is why that the college football playoff doesn't want to get a Bama LSU rematch again, because at least initially, until it gets close to the game, we've seen the show before. So no, there's been nothing to indicate. I want to see the first book get off of the 3. That will be the tell to me that whichever book dares to get off of the 3, Teddy, that side was played either by a bad guy, and I'm talking like a bag of, I've taken a bet for $1 million on the Super Bowl personally, had a bag put in front of me with 1.1 cash. It's either taking that to get off the 3 or someone very, very wise to bet that game to get off of 3.
So, Dave, you've been doing this since the 90s. You've seen a whole lot of Super Bowls. Where does this line close? Where does this total close? Or is this going to sit at -3.25 all week? -3 with juice, and then minus a couple of maybe a -3.5. Where's it going to close? What are we going to see when this game kicks off?
Again, I think it's because of the pandemic, because of the limited amount of, say, public money that would normally pile into Vegas. We can't even have parties here with more than 25% people. So it's not like the crowds are going to come where, they're
only
finally betting the game.
25% of a person?
25%
you can't have parties with
crowd.
more than 25%.
Turn the earphones off, Lawrence. Again, he just
what does that even mean, Dave?
Theodore, I just don't even understand it. We're running out of time. I'm trying to give him actionable info, and he comes in with a 25% question. I'm listing 25% of the time.
Teddy has to put up with this every day. Teddy's feeling you, Dave. Every day.
So let's get the information from Dave Sharapan that he was trying to give us before he was so rudely interrupted.
Agreed.
Because we are short on time.
I don't think the line's going to move, Teddy. I think I think really the first one to move off the 3 is going to be one of the only ones to move off the 3. I think we have our line. I think it's going to sit like this for 13 days. And then the day of the game, someone may say, listen, we're a couple million high on this game. Go get a bet and see what we can do. And you might see a 2.5 or 3.5. I think you're going to see the money line. This is going to be a classic Super Bowl. They're going to play Tampa to win the game on the money line, and they're going to play Kansas City minus the points. The total is the interesting thing. Opened high and coming down. I don't think it's going to go back up. I think they've spoken. I think the play has been put in, and I think it's only going to go down. So you're not going to see probably 57's the top. It's not going past that, and I think it closes south of that by kickoff.
Dave Sharapan, everybody. Dave, well, I love when you come on. What do you got to promote? And then we got to move along.
So I do this podcast every week that Prez has not been on, but Barnaby was on. It's called GT's Cash Considerations. It's probably going to end up being rebranded here shortly, but it's at GT Cash Consider. We have a guest on. We talk gambling information. Just like this, we have fun, but we don't have Prez interrupting all the time. And my Twitter handle is at SportsBKConsig, where I write stories. Last week, Larry King passed away, and I wrote a column about my experience with Larry King in the book and taking his bets. Just a peek inside the book. Today, I posted a picture of the snow here in Las Vegas. Up at my house, we got a couple inches of snow. So there you have it. Actionable info. I put the gloves on for you, Prez. Next time, I'm coming for you. Me and you are scrapping.
Dave, please leave.
Goodbye.
See you next Tuesday. Dave Sharapan, everybody. Real quick, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Prez WagerTalk. The reason I say that is I've been putting out a free pick in the NHL. I've done a video every day. I'm absolutely slaying it. Last night we had the Canucks minus a half goal in the first period at plus 150. Easy winner. So make sure to follow me there. Teddy, look, we're running out of time, and well, I don't care. I strut right by with my tail in the air. You know that song?
I do.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Teddy, you prepared a big game breakdown. We don't have time for it, so do it anyway.
I'll do it very quickly.
Go ahead.
Big game breakdown. I wasn't sure we were doing an audio for it.
No,
Let's talk NBA. Thank you, Joe. Let's talk the Utah Jazz and the New York Knickerbockers on Tuesday night in the NBA. We've seen a little bit of Utah money this morning from 11 up to 11.5. The total has been bet down slightly to 12.5 last night. We're looking at 2.11s, 2.11.5s right now. Let me start with my core NBA betting philosophy. All right, this is how streaks work. The Jazz are 8-0 straight up, 8-0 against the spread, their last 8. 7 of those wins are by double-digit margins. This is a hot team that is covering point spreads that has been consistently undervalued in the betting markets. When you have a streak like the Jazz, you have two choices. If you've been riding it, you ride it till it dies. If you haven't been riding it, your choice is you back Utah or you leave the game alone. You know, last loss, by the way, for the Utah Jazz. Let's see, they lost by 34 at Brooklyn. Then on the second of back-to-backs at Madison Square Garden against this same Knicks the following day, they lost outright by a dozen as 7.5-point favorites. So that's their last loss, means revenge tonight. Now, it is the first of back-to-backs. They do have Dallas tomorrow, but that could also indicate that they're going to kill them earlier. Maybe you want a first half bet on Utah as well. And, of course, the Knicks were down 20 at Portland their last game. They lost by only 3. It's the last game of a long road trip. We just heard Matthew Barnaby talking about as the road trip progresses, the team runs out of gas more. Yeah, we'll look at Utah or we'll leave the game alone. There you have it. Big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Nobody wants to hear me, Teddy. Let's go straight to the pan. Ralph Michaels, how are you, my friend? What's going on? And Detroit
doing great, guys.
Last night, 5% play.
You know, guys.
You.
I made another mistake on the Friends of Ralph play. I picked out a handicapper, and he had to play opposite of Prez. So congrats, Prez, for winning that game. Had I known it was going against you, I wouldn't have used it. But again, a loss here for the Friends of Ralph, dropping it to 9-4. Teddy, Dave was on the show if he's still watching. Totals of 7 in the NHL. There have been 19 the last couple years. They've gone 9 and 10 over under. There were some 7s back since 2006 to 2014. Those went 11 and 24 over under. So 7s had gone way to the under the last couple of years. Again, 9 overs and 10 unders in the 19 games with a total of 7. I'm going to skip over what I wanted to talk about because we're short on time. I will do the Friends of Ralph page. Joe, if you would just pop up the new Wager Talk college basketball stat sheet. Guys, this is my top #1 download I've ever done. Finding college-only stats in college basketball is something hard to do. But take a look. I have the diffs in points per game, diffs in rebounds per game, assists, steals, blocks. Take a look at the breakdowns. You have ATS at home, home favorite, home dog, home versus A, home versus B, home versus C's. One example, take a look at Kansas State on the very bottom. At home, 1-10 against the spread. On the road, 3-1. So the road team in Kansas State games, 13-2 against the spread. We'll talk about this more on tomorrow's show. It's a free download, wagertalk.com, the Ralph Michaels page. You'll be glad you downloaded it. I'm going to do this at least once a week. I may update this stat sheet twice a week. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll let you know when I get there. Friends of Ralph play. Prez, thank you for the congratulations on the 5%. Thank you for all those that followed me. It was actually a record. Our Monday sales on Wager Talk, more people bought my 5% NBA winner yesterday than any other Monday package. So thank you very much. Nick Borman does have a 5% NHL play today. It's in the Netherlands League. It's PS Eindhoven, -1.5 goals, -115 against Emmen. Eindhoven, 12-4-2 plus 24 goals. Emmen 0-6-12 on the season, -28 goals. Nick Borman says to lay the 1.5 goals, and more importantly, check out his 5% NHL play at wagertalk.com.
Ralph,
Michaels,
what league
everybody.
is that in?
Yeah.
That's the Netherlands League.
Is that soccer?
The Dutch soccer, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You actually said hockey, and I was racking my brains, but it's all good. Ralph Michaels, everybody. God, Ralph, we are so thrilled to have you on every day. A big shout out to Matthew Barnaby for joining us. That was a fun segment. Teddy, I think you and I could have talked to him for a long time. Dave Sharapan, as always, shout out to him. Teddy Covers, Joe Ranieri, Ralph Michaels, all you guys in the chat room, thanks for being with us. Make sure to hit that like button and comment as well. Teddy, take us home.
Sure. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the views. And we appreciate when you tell your friends. We'll be back again tomorrow, right here on Wager Talk Today, 23 hours and 10 minutes from now. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.